It's your fault that you're not winning. And then it was always Dak, 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 Dak. It's not, I don't think Dak Prescott is the problem. I think the coach is the problem. And when you're the coach and you're the problem, you need to go. And I'm sorry. This moves me along to the second coach in his division who's definitely a problem. And I don't understand why the whole world seems to be skipping over him when it's time to get somebody fired. And that's Jay Gruden. You know, Jay Gruden was the Andy Dalton quarterback whisperer, and everybody and their mother and their mother's uncle was swinging on his sack and washing his sack, and you know it was getting to be sickening. Let's not forget. Remember, Jay, he couldn't work with Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins is average at best. He did want to work with Robert Griffin III. He publicly embarrassed him. So seeing how you had the audacity to publicly embarrass another player, it's time for you to be publicly embarrassed and be walked out the building. Jay Gruden consistently has picked the wrong guy. Yeah, I understand health has played a role in this, but from what I understand with the Washington racial slurs, that owner, he has no problem spending money. So that means you guys need to be applying money to get a better medical staff. Once you get a better medical staff, your players will stay healthier, so forth and so on. Either that or just the way you practice. Nonetheless, this dude hasn't done anything, and he's had people want to say, well, Kirk Cousins didn't have a whole lot of talent. At one point, he did have a lot of talent. He still didn't do a damn thing because Kirk Cousins is notoriously known for hitting wide open linebackers and defenders. I'm sorry, he throws to the other color. So when you're consistently throwing to the other color, you have a problem. See, this is why me, and shout out to the homie Jungle and shout out to the homie Ninja, we're always screaming at the top of our lungs, stop quoting stats to me. I don't care what your stats say. What do you do in big moments? Big time players make big time plays and big time games, and Kirk Cousins don't do it. Jay Gruden don't do it. And he hasn't had the wherewithal to assemble the talent that has. So when you're consistently losing in Washington and you are not grooming your next guy, and if you're allegedly a quarterback whisperer or a offensive genius, and maybe he's running those same stupid ass spider Y2 banana plays that his brother's running, maybe that's the problem. I don't know. But Jay Gruden, your ass need to pack up. You got your coat, you got your hat, get your coat home, boy. It's over for you. Which leads me to another team. Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone is down there. First and foremost, how did Doug Marrone even get this damn job? Doug Marrone is a dude who, he didn't get fired with Buffalo. He walked out on Buffalo mid-season. Got fed up and said, I quit. Please explain to me how a coach gets fed up with losing and quits. Again, this could be a situation to whereas when you're looking at this could be a situation to whereas there's information, insider information that we're not privy of that went on, but still, it's not a good look. But either way, Doug Marrone has a boatload of talent down there in Jacksonville. He's another one of these guys who came with a great resume, and we all work somewhere where somebody has a great resume, and with their resume, what happens is this. You read their resume and talk about how dope they are, and when they get in the office or they get on the sidelines, only thing that happens is more losing. And Doug Marrone is that. They run in spite of Doug Marrone last year, and they kept one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the worst quarterback in the NFL, and Blake Horribles, as my man Shannon Sharp calls him. And why in the hell would you even, see, this is the problem. See, for those who want to talk about why do I address race so often, because you can't tell me with a sound mind that Blake Bortles is the very best the quarterback pool worldwide has to offer. Are we out here believing that you can find guys at Utah, you can find guys at University of Wyoming, you can find guys at Northwestern State University, but you can only find Blake Bortles? That has to be insane. Don't tell me that. All the defensive talent, they got big time offensive talent, and you can't find a way to find a quarterback to execute your offense, and you want us to believe, hey man, that's just the way it is, man. You tripping, A-Trap. No, I'm not tripping. This dude is not as good a coach as we thought. Anytime, look, this is why Jason Kidd got fired. We've seen plenty of coaches shine one year and fall off, and then the next year they get fired. Let's talk about this dude, Doug Marrone. You need to get the hell up out of there because you held on to this dude. You and maybe Tom Coughlin needs to be fired as well because he's co-signing this foolishness, and you're behind the co-sign. So either both of y'all need to go or he needs to go. The homie Big L has chimed in again. Why is Denver Bronco head coach Vance Joseph job in question? He has no QB, the owner and management and management help. And that's the thing. I'm gonna talk about him next. Vance Joseph is another dude, but to complete that thought, Doug Marrone needs to go and he needs to be rehired because there's no way in hell seeing how Teddy Bridgewater, who has quarterbacked a team to the playoffs, similar to the one that was in Jacksonville this year. He's coached a team led a team to the playoffs. Why did you go get Teddy Bridgewater as a backup, if nothing else? And then when Blake Horribles turns right back into Blake Horribles, you have another guy who had a training camp, who had the ability to move forward, and then you had a contingency plan. But instead, you stuck with one of the worst quarterbacks we've seen in recent history, one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks we've seen in recent history, and then you have a problem. But now, I don't really hear a lot of people talking about that dude. Now, to address this Denver Broncos thing, Vance Joseph is a defensive guy, and look, this is why, again, when people get to quoting to me stats, this stat says this, and that stat says that, and see, this is why, and that is why, and all that nonsense. If you watch the games, you'll understand. First, let's talk about this. Joseph is the first Broncos coach to have a below 500 record in back-to-back years since the 70s. And that's like, oh, wow, that's a long time. That means the Broncos have been consistent. No, they haven't been. To not have a losing record only means you winning half of your games, first and foremost. See, when you hear not have a losing record, you probably subconsciously think 10 games, 9 games. All you have to do is win 8 games not to have a losing record. Like, for example, if Mike Tomlin loses tomorrow, he'll still not have a losing record ever in his career. But with Vance Joseph, again, this is the problem I have with the media and the people who are talking trash on TV. You tell me the quarterback is the most important position on the team. You tell me you can't do anything without proper quarterback play, and then you want to fire Vance Johnson for what? Not having a proper quarterback. Case Keenum is his present quarterback, and Case Keenum stunk in Houston, and he stunk at several other places. He had one outlier year in Minnesota last year, and he did so well that the coach let him go. Think about that. You did so well in your last job that they fired you. That's exactly what happened with this dude. But you signed him, John Elway, which you've also signed a few other lousy-ass quarterbacks. You gave the big 6'7". Historically, 6'7" guys don't play quarterback, and you've drafted 2 of them. You are a dude who's known as a coach killer, but for whatever reason, you can't find a quarterback for a guy. Now, again, this is why you have to look at the situation in totality, and that's why I don't think this dude needs to be fired either. Vance Joseph looks to be a solid coach, and then you trade away his number 1 option at receiver, then his number 2 option blows out his Achilles. Both of their Achilles are gone at this point, and Denver Broncos don't have a coach. They have a solid running game, and they have a solid defense, but it looks like they're about to hit the reset button again. This is where it annoys me when people go, let's not go race. Okay, if it's not racial, explain to you why Mr. Elway didn't sign Teddy Bridgewater. See, everybody want to go to Colin Kaepernick. I'm not condoning anything the NFL has done. I'm not going to say it's okay, I get it. I'm not going to even tell that dumbass lie I understand, because I don't. Because it's about winning. And one thing I know about winning, if you can sign the devil himself, and you can sign Malcolm X at the quarterback in Alabama, in the state of Alabama or the state of Mississippi, and if you start winning football games, they're going to be like, well, we're just going to wait to see what happens. So this is how you know racism is in full effect. And I don't want to hear about, oh, John Elway was always cool with the bros. Yeah, when the bros keeping the people off your ass and the bros helping your legacy, of course you're going to be cool with them, unless you're just a dumbass, a.k.a. Jay Cutler. And then Jay Cutler may be cool, but I'm just saying the persona that we get is he's a dickhead, so I'm going to go along with the persona. But John Elway, he's put together everything but a great quarterback or even a serviceable quarterback. So when you tell me Vance Joseph is supposed to be fired, I'm forced to look at you crazy. I'm forced to. It's just a matter of common sense, if you ask me. This is a guy who is making brick without straw. If you're familiar with the story of Moses, you know what I'm talking about. But he's literally making brick without straw. He's making way with no way. And we all know that this is a guy who hasn't picked a quarterback, and we know he doesn't have the ability to excel in that fashion. So why are we talking about him? And those are just some of the and then I can't think of the guy's name. 1 year in Arizona, and they're talking about him losing his job. See, this is why if I was a coach of a team, if I was a up and coming coach, I would definitely not take one of these reconstruction jobs trying to build my rep. If you don't have a quarterback, please don't even call me. And I would approach it that way. I would go in and interview and look real good, and then I don't even know if I would interview. I would make people believe that I'm like this dude in New England. I'm waiting. I'm trying to be the coach behind the coach, because it's just crazy how it's okay. You get these jobs that they're half-ass jobs, and they want you to overachieve in a bad situation, and that's just not conducive to having a productive career. That Denver defense with Kaepernick not turning over the ball is a winning football team. Only a blind man can't see this. But you know what, Big L, man? That's what Big L again. I get you, but they not hiring Kaepernick. They're not. And we need to stop banjo. This goes back into a greater thing. See, we keep saying that they're not going to hire Kaepernick, and that's cool. But see, at some point, as I've asked in the past, Big L, at what point do we start saying, you know what, I'm going to go play Canadian football. I'm going to exercise other options. There are certain ownership groups that have been outspoken in regards to certain things about the plight of our community, and they've been extremely dismissive. People like suspected white supremacist Jerry Jones he's actually come out and said, this is my stage, and if you don't do what I say, blah blah blah. Okay, cool, you can feel that way, Jerry. I'm not mad at you. I don't have an issue with you feeling that way, but make sure when you're talking to your agent, he does not accept one phone call from the city of Dallas, Texas, or Fort Worth, or Arlington, or anywhere Jerry Jones may be calling from. I'm not trying to hear it. See, that's the problem. Or when it's time to re-up in Texas, if someone gets reasonably close to that number, you tell Jerry Jones to KMA. See, that's how you combat racism in this league. You have no choice where you're going to get drafted, but just let them know, hey man, I'm not spending a quarter of my money, and I'm going to make sure when it's time for me to leave, I can leave. That's when they have it. That's the only way you can exact change, because they're not going to sign Colin Kaepernick. But the thing is, just like maybe this is something Big L or anybody else in the background listens, maybe this is something we need to explore. Like when Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, those GoFundMe pages, and all those people who kill brothers, unjustly kill brothers in the street, unarmed brothers, and somehow, some way, they get $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 on a GoFundMe page, even up to $2 or $3 million on a GoFundMe page. Maybe we need to GoFundMe Kaepernick and help him fund programs throughout the country so we can move forward. Yeah, it's just a thought. It's a waning thought. Actually, I've always felt that way, but Dave Chappelle made it public. I don't want to take credit for it, but even though I did think of it on my own, but I'm gonna give the credit to Dave Chappelle, because he's the first person who publicly said it. So I ain't trying to steal no shine. I'm just trying to make some sense out of this whole thing, because when you're looking at this thing, That's why I scoff at people who tell me it's not always about race. But